Hey, Caitlin.
Hi.
I,
Uh, what? Tell me.
no,
Tell
I was
me.
supposed to. There was some like sort of. I did that rhyme thing with Caitlin Dre is like on the way or whatever. Well, I don't remember. I was supposed to do something, but I forgot because my brain doesn't
Oh,
work.
mm-mm. That's
Um,
okay if we're not rhyming. I
yeah,
was
I think
telling
it's
dad
good.
jokes earlier today. It
Oh,
was
Lord.
pretty
Well,
hilarious.
that could
Anyway,
be good. So we're here to talk
I
about beer. I understand. Well, brewery and community and marketing and all that good stuff.
yeah, nobody wants me to talk about beer, which is why we have the lovely and talented and wonderful Nicki Werner of Jefferson Beer Supply, one of Sioux City's just like Siouxland, I guess.
Siouxlands and
Yes,
like
the greater Siouxland metro. Just a bright spot, Jefferson
yeah,
Beer.
so
The
located in
tap
Jefferson,
room.
South Dakota, which is just
Ugh,
right up the interstate a little
yeah,
ways.
yeah,
So we're going to talk about unique marketing challenges of a brewery, kind of how Nikki and team found their niche and why they're so awesome and why we love them being here in the community.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so welcome, Nikki. You're here with us. We don't
Hey,
always
yeah, thanks
start
for
with the
having me.
guest.
Thank
Yeah,
you for being here.
I
This is
know.
like, yeah, such a highlight. Nikki and I kind of, we like run in maybe like parallel circles is not a thing, but like in maybe concentric circles or like
Okay, so you overlap occasionally.
tangential. Yes, like we're both members, like defunct members of the same book club. Like
Mm.
we like the people that are in the book club, but we're like we're very busy. I can't read books that somebody else picks, and also I can't break away on a Tuesday to go talk about a book, which is sad because
I
I think it's a great group. So,
I thought book clubs were
um,
mostly about drinking.
well,
Am I
this
wrong?
I mean that's like no, but this they do a pretty good
They
job of like at
do
least
read the
starting
book.
the book.
Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. One of the other members is a bartender at my favorite local bar, the Diving Elk, and so it's just really like the cocktail culture is is also deeply integral to this particular book club. But
Yes.
anyway, I think that I want you to talk to us about this recipe, and then I have some questions just about like how you got here, Nikki.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
I love
I'm
it.
so I do want to confess before we get too far in, I don't drink beer. So I would just apologize in the beginning. However, I read so I do drink a sour occasionally. It's got to be a really good one. And I was reading this Thai Taki sour. My favorite burrito is the Taki's burrito from Daga's. And so I am very interested in this cocktail. So,
Yeah, it was actually from last summer we did a Tiki beer cocktail night with the Hello High, which is the cocktail bar in Sioux Falls. So they
okay.
have
Yes.
their we planned these drinks with their mixologist, and then they came down and did them, and we had a really good local food truck, Molly's on Wheels. So it was tacos and tiki drinks, and so yeah, this
Mm,
Taki sour. We actually had a Taki beer on at that time, but you can make it with any kind of fruited sour or really a lot of jalapeno beers or chili beers are very readily available right now. Like a
Okay.
jalapeno blonde
I
would
know.
also be good for
Nikki
this.
gave us product. We're very excited.
This is for the kids. I'm doing a little
Hmm.
yes. I
Yeah.
just and we'll talk about this, but I just love the look of everything is so like cohesive and cute and sturdy. It's like distinct. I feel like sometimes small breweries have a like slapdash quality to them where it's
Like I clip arted this
like
label and
kitschy a little bit, yeah.
hmm
And I just the whole brand is so cohesive, and I'm excited to talk more about that. But
well,
first
I
things
mean,
first.
can we just address the elephant in the room? Tiki and tacos. She's speaking our love language,
I
Caitlin.
know, right?
Like
I was like, this is
Zach is
perfect.
ready to fly back.
When you talk about hello hi too, my husband went because he's like in the cocktail adjacent culture of the greater Siouxland area as well, and went and did like a rum tasting or something with the crew from Hello Hi, and he was like it was so fun because they went to
Nice.
like all these different little bars in Sioux Falls, and because he was like with the bar people from Sioux Falls, they all kind of got like the vibey treatment and not just like oh here's your drink and away you go. It was like they were all just like
Hmm.
taking little sips of everybody's and like sharing it around, and obviously not worried about
Yeah.
germs, but yeah. So it's
Alcohol
like
kills
yeah.
germs. It's fine.
I'm not like
Totally how that
crazy
works.
deep into the Sioux Falls bar scene, but we do have a handful of accounts there. And the if you like cocktails and if you like tiki cocktails, the Hello High is definitely like a gem that you don't
Yes.
find in this area. You know, it's a real legit tiki bar, and
Mhm.
their beers are legit. So this cocktail, when they did it, it was amazing. They handmade all the syrups and everything. It might be like a little bit complicated if you're just like a at home
We're
bartender
not
wanting to
afraid
make
of that.
a beer cocktail. But also there's so many like good cocktail syrups and bitters that you can buy now if you're not wanting to
Mhm.
make them. So
Yeah.
this one kind of the recipe has lemongrass and ginger, pineapple,
Yum.
a little tiny bit of sesame, and
Ooh.
some Thai chilies, and then a sour beer or a chili beer, uh, and a
So good.
Taki rim. We can take the hot Taki chips and crush them up and make the rim.
I want
Rich is
that on
like,
every drink now. I
I
know.
have converted. You've converted me.
Well, I'm feeling
It's like a
like,
beer garita, really.
oh,
Like,
Yeah,
I'm feeling like mango margarita with Taki-dust.
yeah.
oh, there you
Why
go.
not?
That was like 2 episodes ago.
I
I need to
know.
like
Yeah.
go
I still
back
have the
and
mangoes.
yep.
I don't have any limes though. I have the mangoes in the freezer. I found them. I was cleaning it out and I found them.
All right, so to make this, you're going to take 1.5 ounces of lemongrass ginger simple syrup, which we'll talk about in a second, an ounce of fresh pineapple juice, a dash of that toasted sesame oil, which I love. Like, give me all the like sesame, soy. Ooh, yum. One small Thai chili, which are strong. That's
Little
a sturdy
thingy.
chili. Yes. Sour beer, preferably a citrus-based fruit sour, or as Nikki said, you could use a hot pepper beer like a jalapeno blonde. A jalapeno. I just like there's so many. Anytime we talk about blonde beers, I'm like it just lends itself to talking about like women, which is not here nor there. Also, not really our
Sure.
specialty. And then, as we discussed, you're going to rim your glass with Taki-dust and the lime wedge. So,
And
tell
one
me.
tip before we get too far: if you are worried about the heat on that Thai chili, cut it in half and scrape it out. So you take out the seeds and the, I don't know, I want to say plinth, but I don't know if that's the right word for it. But it's
No,
the
it's
fiber membrane thing
The
that's
ribs.
in there. The what? The
The
ribs.
ribs. Yeah.
Yes. So if you take that stuff out and then you muddle just the chili like fruit, I guess, skin, whatever you want to call it, just the
Skin.
main
Yeah,
part of
yeah.
the chili and get those seeds out, you're going to get all the flavor. You're going to get some heat, but it won't be as
It won't be
bad
quite as
yeah,
yeah,
that's like
yeah.
when I had that burger that had jalapeno slices with all of the seeds in them, and I was just
Hurts
like,
my-
"Ugh." I had to
that
just
hurts my
stop.
head.
Yeah, it was a
Yep.
lot.
Yep.
All right, so now make it up.
To make your lemongrass ginger syrup, which I might do just to have, because it'd be really good in like a bubble water too. Simmer 1 cup of water, 1 cup of sugar, so you're making simple syrup, and then you want to add 2 stalks of chopped lemongrass and a thumb of sliced fresh ginger for 10 minutes. Just simmer that. I know, right? A thumb of ginger. Is that the technical term for that? Ginger is such a pain to work with that I always just get like the squeezy tube. Anyway.
It's valid.
Let that cool, strain, and store in the fridge for up to 2 weeks. A hot pepper tincture or simple syrup would also work in the place of the fresh chili, which I feel like you could buy, right? Like a little hot pepper dropper. Perfect. Okay. So to start, you're going to rub the rim of a chilled pint or cocktail glass with lime, then dip it in the crushed Taki seasoning. The photo of this is so cute because it's got the like, it's not just around the rim, it's like got the extra. Anyway, build the base in a shaker. You're going to combine the syrup, pineapple juice, sesame oil, and the muddled chili if you're using that, and then shake that gently with ice. Strain over fresh ice in your prepared glass, and then slowly, so as not to disturb the bubbles, top with your favorite tart, citrusy sour beer and give her a quick stir. If you want to be really extra or you like cilantro, which is a thing that I don't, you can add a sprig of cilantro, or it's not even that it tastes like grass to me. I just don't like it. Or
I like
soap.
the
It's
grassy
soap.
taste. Soap
This-
is what
yeah,
it tastes like.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I think it just tastes like grass. I would like to know more about this serving note. Serve with a side eye and a straw. Is side eye like a cocktail term that I don't know? Or is that supposed to be sidecar? I
I
love
think it
all
would
of
be
it.
sidecar. Yeah. Yeah. It's like a
I
little
mean, you
sidecar
could serve it with a
latte.
side eye.
Like,
Yeah.
We're gonna all have to give Zach some side eye now.
it's like I don't know what a side eye is at the bar, other than the like.
So, can you,
Maybe you should slow down.
for those who are uninitiated, what is a sidecar?
It's
Just
just a
the rest
little
of the
tiny
beer.
beer that comes,
Yeah,
yeah, either,
what doesn't
yeah,
fit.
if you're using the beer to mix, or like a lot of times Bloodies will be served with like the little tiny cans or little sidecar. Yeah.
I like the little Miller High Lifes, the little like 6 ounces. Are they the little
Yeah, the
6 ounce glass
chubs. Yeah.
bottles? But the only time I drink a High Life is if it's got a shot of, is it Aperol? I
Oh,
may the
mhm.
I've never heard of that.
oh my gosh,
The German. Yeah.
it's got a name. The Miller High Life and pink liqueur has a name, and my husband is divorcing me as we speak because I can't remember what this
No,
is
he won't
called.
divorce you. I
Actually,
mean,
yeah.
I was like Spagliotti was all I was coming up with. And I'm
yeah,
like,
it's a
"Got it.
spaghetti.
It's a spaghetti. Yes, thank you, Zach, for saving my marriage.
Yeah, interesting.
Perfect.
I've never ever thought about that.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
spaghetti. Yeah.
they're so good. They're so good. Coincidentally, Katie, our joint book club member, is the one who turned me on to a spaghetti because yeah. I think the last time I had any amount of them was in the parking lot of the Green Bay Packers stadium. 'Cause I'm like, I can drink High Life at a football game. This is fine. Okay, before we break, I would like to know a little bit about how you got here, Nikki, to Jefferson Beer Supply, kind of the like 5-minute version, if it's that.
Like
you
2-minute version.
You contain multitudes, and I don't want to short sell the story. So, take
Yeah.
the time that you
I mean,
need.
some of them are probably boring. Or
No.
let's go down the rabbit holes you guys want to go down. But I was an artist for a long time, and my partner and I both were. And I was actually a college professor, and I just needed a summer job. So I started working at this brewery that was connected to this art space. So I had like my studio there, and then I was kind of like helping build out the bar and paint and do like construction-y type work. And then I just kept learning more and got more into the brewing side. I was also cleaning for them because I just like needed money. And then I went
Starving artist lifestyle.
We've
I'm
all
gonna-
been there.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
and I went
So
back to
rad.
teaching, and then when I was teaching, I was like that I liked brewing better. It was a better fit. So and then part of why I was so into the brewing is like in academia, especially at that time and in that climate, it was like really hard to find money and funding for things, and really complicated to feel like what you're doing is making an impact. But this brewery, on the other hand, it was a really cool. It was pretty innovative. It was like each bar had, it was when QR codes were new, and each beer had a QR code that you would scan that would go to a soundtrack of like 12 bands. And then each label was a work of art by a local artist, not like designed by a local
Oh.
artist. It was like a good piece of art that they like built the beer around. And so the idea was that like the art and the beer would make like this self-sustaining loop, which was way more attractive than like this old academic model of like begging for money for things all the time. Um, so that was part of
Yes.
what, but I also just liked the work. I liked the recipes. I was really process oriented, just like a lot of the art stuff I was doing. And so that's how I got into brewing. So, but that, so that led to other jobs. And so I've been in the beer industry for about like, I think it's almost, it's past 10 years now. And so that was in Wisconsin. We ended up moving to Colorado for me to brew. I worked at a big brewery there. I've gotten a lot of great opportunities through brewing. Like, I got to go to Germany and study with a bunch of other women brewers. When we were in Colorado, we were kind of like in the beer mecca. So I got to collaborate with all these other breweries. I got to go to all these conferences, see all the coolest new science, learn from really cool people. And then we moved back to the Midwest, and we moved to Jefferson, South Dakota, just outside of Sioux City, to be with family. My partner's from Jefferson, and we thought we were going to move to Sioux Falls, and I was working at a brewery in Sioux Falls. But then COVID happened, and we really liked living in Jefferson and Siouxland, and we really didn't want to move. And it was also kind of a time of like, if now isn't the time to like make the culture you want to be a part of, when is, you know?
Right.
So, and then also the other wonderful thing about small town Midwest, Siouxland specifically, is when we were in all these other cities, beer was so competitive, so almost oversaturated, and the barrier to entry was so high financially, and in a lot of different ways. And after working at a startup myself in Wisconsin, I was like, I'm never starting a brewery. I never want to do that.
I feel you.
Yeah. But then when we got here, there was huge opportunities. We really wanted to be in Jefferson, and we just did it, I guess.
That's
Boom.
so rad. And I think and like I said, we'll talk more about this, but like the continuity between your like visual brand and the tap room and the vibe is so good. I remember the first time I went up to the tap room and I was like, I want to live here. I was like, are we moving to Jefferson? And like I'm not a rural gal. Not that Jefferson is like super rural, but or that Sioux City is
Or
like,
that Sioux City's super big.
the metropolitan areas. But I was like, it's such a cute spot, and you do such a great job. And I think we'll talk about this more too. Is like that community building piece where you're doing like we're talking about coming up to the plant swap, and there's food trucks, and there's just all of these kind of little micro opportunities for people to connect around the tap room, and that doesn't happen by accident. And so I'm so impressed by your love of this area, and you've collaborated too with like the folks at Mardo and Jackson Street, and like all of like it does seem like the brewery culture in the area is a little bit more cohesive and collaborative, where it's not like you're all fighting for the same slice of pie. Like you can kind of stay in your area, and then also commend other folks that are doing something similar, which I think is it's just rad. It's really rad, and I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Ugh, so good. We are back. Thank you for indulging a break. Nicki, I just want to jump right in. Your personal mission, which I think is so rad as a business owner, is to make the culture you want to be a part of. What are you doing to shape that in the business, and then also kind of, without...
In life?
Yeah, not necessarily in life, but like in the larger community of Jefferson, which is a really tight-knit area. So like, talk about what that looks like on a day-to-day for you.
Yeah, I could talk about it in a lot of ways. Maybe one of the easier ways is like Jefferson itself. It's like, I love life here. It's so nice. It's so quiet. There's great schools. The soil is really great for gardening. If you want to have, I've never had a garden as amazing as the garden I can have in Jefferson, just because the soil is so good. All these awesome things about the community, and but there are things that are hard. There's not a lot to do here. There's not a lot to do for families. There's not a lot to do besides the casino, like dive bar culture. Sometimes really
Plenty of
smoky
that
and
in South
full of
Dakota.
greasy food, and which I love that. But
not every day.
Yeah. It's like I want to do yoga, so we have yoga class, or like there's great farmers in our area growing all these local products, but there's nowhere to buy them. So we have a farmer's market once a year, right at harvest time.
So cool.
Or like craft classes, or we had a birdhouse building class, which,
nice.
We loved on multiple levels, but also then it like brings birds to our town.
Yeah.
We're a little bit landlocked by farm.
I want to make one point of clarity for people who don't know, because who knows who's listening to this. Jefferson, South Dakota is like 450 people. Like when we say small town, like I grew up in a town of 3,000. Like, no, we're saying small.
Small.
I mean, there's more communities around there, and you can draw from there. And like, you're not that far from Sioux City. I want to say like a half hour maybe from Sioux City. Is that about right?
20 minutes. I mean, it depends on which.
Yeah, I have family from up in the Elk Point,
landmark,
Jefferson
yeah.
area. I was up there as a kid a lot. What you're saying to me now makes 100% sense. I'm looking at your website and I'm looking at the main photo you have on the main page, and I'm like, this is not like a brew pub. Like, this is more community center vibe. This is more like art center vibe or studio vibe. And what's interesting to me is you guys do a lot. Like, what you're describing is you are sort of a community center that brings people together, but also we brew beer and it's really great and you can have some beer while you're here. But you do things for like families too, right? Like, you're family friendly. So can you like dive into that a little bit? So like bar, and I know you're not a bar necessarily, but bar, brewery, and family, like you're used to like must be 21 or accompanied by an adult, like at the door. How do you do that? Like, what inspired you to go that way, and how do you carve that niche?
I mean, we were a little bit inspired by like old school German beer gardens. Drinking culture in the United States, especially before the Germans, like was heavily influenced by German beer culture, where it's low alcohol, you drink in the day, and the whole family's there. So yeah, we don't serve any liquor, and almost all of our beers are under 6%. A lot of our beers are like about 4 or 5%. And then we also have a ton of non-alcoholic offerings. But
nice.
And I like it. Some of this stuff is hard to sort out, like chicken or the egg thing. Like, on the one hand, that's like what we want. We're a little bit older. We aren't into getting super trashed every day, but we do like the casual social vibe of having a pint here, a pint there. And then the other thing is, like, there was a hole in our market for that here. So there was like, yeah, our town is only 500, but our county is like 17,000 and growing, and we're the only brewery in our whole county, and we're kind of the only like, there's really even only a handful of places that have food and drink that are family friendly in our whole county, and so people were looking for things to do together as a family, and like grandparents, parents, and kids. And that's our biggest demographic, I would probably say, is like 30 to 50-year-olds with kids, even adult kids, young kids, all kinds of kids.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So,
and I feel like, well, except
I know.
they moved, but like this sounds like where you and Carol and Dorothy could all just go have an afternoon.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
and we
that
do,
is
our building has a playground right behind it. Like, there's a park and a playground. We have a big family-friendly patio. We're dog-friendly. Honestly, I'm a cat person. I like dogs, but I really am a cat person. But it was kind of like a niche in the market. Like, there's nowhere around here that was dog-friendly where people could go with their dogs outside. So,
or to like walk, right? Because
Yeah.
it's a small community too. So like, even in your immediate neighborhood, where it's like, I'm just gonna walk down, have a pint with my dog and a friend or whatever, and then walk home. And like, that's
it creates
love
a
it.
convenience, because like if you're walking the dog, especially in a town that size, like, I mean, even in my neighborhood in San Diego, when we were walking the dogs, we'd go by like a place and be like, oh, like I would love to stop there and grab a drink or grab whatever, but they don't have a patio for dogs, and they don't, and you gotta. And by the time I take the dog home, I'm like, I'm not walking back up there. So I do like that you've created this niche where it's kind of a place for everybody. A little something
It's like
for everyone.
where everybody knows your name. Just like
Yeah.
tying a
And
bar reference, if I can. Yeah.
Your food trucks, oh my God, like the food trucks you guys have come there, like, woo. Do you have a kitchen or no kitchen? It's just food trucks.
Actually, we're we're getting our first delivery for our bigger menu tomorrow. So we've been working a lot. The last month we added big giant pretzels and pretzel bites and a really good cheese sauce, and we did pizzas from a local pizzeria.
Yes.
And but now we're adding a bunch of nachos and apps and other yummy food, and then in May we're doing like another rollout of food.
Caitlin, I think we should have our summer party there.
But we
that's
are
a
still doing
great
the
idea.
food trucks, which is like what everyone asked. So we'll still have food trucks 3 days a week, and then our kitchen 5 days a week.
That's so
Nice.
rad, Nikki. Seriously. I know I was like, because I woke up this morning and I was ready to dress for the weather I want and not the weather I have. So we're not quite there yet. But I'm like, when is the earliest that my husband and I can come have like a dinner, set our kid free on the playground and just like chill? It's not coming soon enough is what I'm trying to get to. I'm like, we're taking a day trip over the weekend soon. I want to talk about a little bit more about the hearing you and your partner's background as artists makes the visual identity much clearer to me. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Like you have dialed in what you want the visual feeling to be when you see a can, or like the stickers even, or like all of your branding is just so good. It's so good and distinctive. I'm curious if that has, like, if the visual side, or if there have been challenges that you've kind of faced as a smaller establishment. Like, what does that look like? I guess we'll go back to a day-to-day, like when you're thinking about growing business or, putting yourself out there.
Yeah, I mean, as an artist or like a marketing person or a designer, it feels like you have much more time to do these things and think about these things. And whereas us, sometimes we're just kind of like go, go, go. And sometimes the details of it get away from us. And then before we know it, something doesn't look like we want it, or doesn't quite fit in like we want it. And so that's one thing, is like, if we were just designers or artists, everything would be a lot more perfect. But we have all these other things to do.
Yes. Can you give me an example of like something didn't look the way that you want to? If you're comfortable with like,
oh yeah, totally.
just showing your scars.
Yeah, I mean, our Facebook in general, like there's just such pressure to Facebook post all the time that the pictures aren't always perfect, or we're using the pictures again, or like something has an old font on it and we've switched fonts. And as artists or designers, that like kills us. But it's also like, we sometimes done is better than perfect.
100%. We've had a whole episode on that.
Yes.
And especially like our food truck partner, a lot of our partners, a lot of their stuff isn't where we want it to be. Like whether it's a picture of food, or they're getting their logo on something, or their menu. And sometimes it bums me out. Sometimes I feel like I spend a lot of time posting bad quality pictures of melted cheese and tater tots, and it's like, this is not the aesthetic that I want for us, but it is functional,
Yeah,
so.
I mean, most actual food photos aren't really food. Like, I mean, if you're doing depending if you're a big studio or a big restaurant, none of that's edible. Like the melted cheese isn't cheese, but you can do good photos though, like of food. That's interesting. Like, so you just have to kind of fight that instinct and be like, okay, I need to breathe through this. It's fine.
Yeah.
Everybody will be okay with it. They know we have
Or like,
tots with cheese.
It's hard. Like we print our menu, probably about once a week or once every week and a half. And if my partner had it his way, we would redesign it every single week. And it's like, sometimes we have other things we need to do, so.
Well,
is he the pusher in the, is that fair, where it's like,
who's the boss?
Yeah,
I'm the boss, sure.
yeah. Boom.
So it just like to give you an example where like I'm the dreamer in the partnership at my house, where I'm like, we could do all of these things, and then my husband is like, or we could start and do this thing well, and then we'll talk about the rest. So it sounds like maybe you have a little bit of a Tyrell Dray energy, where it's like, or we could pump the brakes. All right.
Yeah, I think one good point that you could use as an argument to him is your patrons will appreciate consistency in the menu. They don't like to hunt for things because it's a funky design. Like that can be really rough. I'm looking at your website, like that's why I'm distracted over here, and you have memberships, and I'm excited and obsessed. So you may see something come through from me on your website here soon.
the not beer drinker in in Omaha. I love it. I love it so much. It's interesting. I just really also want to reiterate that no one has ever been mad at tater tots and melted cheese, no matter
It
what
works
they
then.
looked like.
Even
in
if
a
it looks
photo.
like trash, it's going to be delicious.
It's gonna feel so nice. Yeah, because it's a potato and it's cheese. So, you can rest on that a little bit too. But yeah, photos of food are tricky. Just it does not matter how you slice it.
And all that stuff works, but it's like sometimes I wish we had more. Sometimes there's so much pressure to get people to come in that night to do that thing, and we have a lot of events and it's almost like we have to market for every single day almost. And I wish I had more time or space to market like our bigger mission, like deep dive into stories about each beer or brand, to talk about our employees, to like talk about the things that I think are our culture, but we do get like bogged down with like the day-to-day marketing stuff a lot.
Oh
So,
man,
you read my mind.
song. Yeah.
Biggest question I was going to be like, what marketing challenges have you faced? And you're like nailing them just before we even ask the question. And I think that happens with retail and restaurant a lot, where you're so in the weeds on, I need people today, I need people tomorrow, that finding that time for that bigger piece that's like, this is why you should support us regardless of trivia night or your favorite food truck or whatever. I think that's a lot of people can empathize and relate to that. I mean, we're terrible at marketing ourselves. Agencies are always awful at it, just because we're doing things for other people and we never look at ourselves. Yeah, I think, do you see
Seems like a universal problem, right?
Yeah. Do you think you'll have a moment where you can step back from some of the nitty gritty and actually be able to do that? Like, do you see that in like 6 months or 5 months, or is it like, that's never going to happen?
I mean, sometimes in winter we do, because there's a week that we closed in January, and I'm always like, all right, what stories am I going to tell on social media this week, because I don't have to do all the other stuff. And then like also this move away from, we're moving, now that we have grown a lot, we're moving away from like these littler events and the littler food trucks and whatever, and we're only having food trucks 3 days a week, and a lot of our offerings are going to be more consistent. So I'm hoping that then there's more space to tell other stories. But we did kind of have a marketing win just this last week. It was Farmer Appreciation Week. And this year, a couple of years ago for Farmer Appreciation Week, we had brewed a beer with a seed company down the road, some local guys. So it was an American light lager with corn in it, and they're a corn seed company. So the beer is called Southern Plains, and they're a pioneer, so it's got the pioneer riff on the logo on it. But so anyway, that beer became one of our flagship beers because everyone loved it so much. And so this past week for Farmer Appreciation, we kind of tied the whole week with that one beer. And so we were able to spend a good couple days of the week talking about farmer appreciation, but it also kind of talked about that exact beer. It talked about why they should come in that weekend, and talked about this is our bigger mission, and this is how farming is a part of our community in a bigger way.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to do things that cohesive all the time, but it really worked last week.
That's
I think you got a good formula there, though. When you've got a micro thing that you need to talk about that's urgent, just tie it even loosely back to your greater mission, and be like, hey, this is local. This is made with seed from right down the street, farmers that are local, and here's why we did that. And I think that's even if you just get a sentence in there that's about we're super big on community and local, and that's why all of this is local. Even just telling the story of that one particular beer helps people get oh, they must care about the local community. That's really cool. Caitlin, I need you to go buy one of each sour for me and bring them down. Because I'm looking at your website again, and it's not like we do a product thing, but orange chicken sour. I love a good orange chicken. And then I'm going down and
brewed with real chickens. No, it's not real.
I get to Burn Book sour, and we all know where the Burn Book comes from. That's that
was one of the samples that was in our little. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna I'll have to email you.
I did the last time that I was up was in the fall. It might have been 2 years ago, but it was like stout week
Oh
or
yeah.
something. And you did you had like the hot poker beer, which is a thing that I had never. I mean, not a beer drinker, but when I do drink beer, it's always a stout. Like I want like rich and
You want
malty
to
and
chew it.
chocolatey, yes, like pudding beer. And I was like, this is very interesting. But the whole like I remember the gal who was like serving that night. She also had just like such a deep knowledge and appreciation for the beer itself, and then also kind of the why behind you sticking a molten hot piece of metal into your beer, and like what happens chemically and where that was like socially and historically, and like it was just like so like cohesive is like the word that I keep coming back to, but
And unique. Like
yeah. And I think like one of my favorite things just as a human is to watch someone do the thing that they love and that they are best at. And like the whole thing that you have created like is that. Like it's you and your partner doing the things that you love and that you're best at. And I think that can't be like celebrated enough when people are like, oh, there's nothing to do here, and it's like, so then you should do something about that. And like you're doing something about that in our community, which just hats off.
Yes. So I think we got to wrap up here shortly, but or maybe we needed to wrap up like 15 minutes ago, but that's okay. This is great. I think my next thing, I'm thinking about this and I'm like, okay, like geographically, next time I'm in Lamar's where my family is, instead of coming back down 75, I could cut across to South Dakota, load up on basically all the sours. And now I mean, the burn book is lemon, strawberry, and marshmallow. Come on. The fender bender sounds good. A cream ale. I think I might like that. But basically load up on those and bring them home. I'll just bootleg that stuff down into Nebraska.
I don't think it's bootlegging if it's a personal purchase.
So South Dakota,
or is it just like
Nebraska, I think it's okay.
crossing
state lines for Nebraska? There's an old law in the book still. We've talked about it before. Where basically, if I take a bottle of wine to Council Bluffs, I've broken the law. Like, but you don't get busted for it. I mean,
well, you might now because it's. You just said it on the internet, so you better be careful. Okay, I want to know this one final thing. You want to be remembered as someone who is doing something. If in 10 years you look back now, what do you hope people say about you and Jefferson Beer Supply?
I mean, I want
question.
Jefferson Beer Supply to feel like it belongs to our community and to our employees.
Am I gonna cry? Okay.
That's what I would want. I would want like, and I do think that's already happened a little bit, but I just want everyone from Jefferson to be proud of the brewery, everyone that works there to be proud of the brewery, and that would be my dream. Like, we also have a plan to like be employee stock owned, which we're not like. We have to make more money to be there. So I would hope in 10 years we're like employee stock owned, and like all of these people are like, yeah, I own part of that brewery because I worked there for a long time, or I work there now, or.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're working on that as well. And it is way more difficult than you think it is. And yes, it requires money. Not only for the attorney's fees to draw everything up, but you've got to have the money for like if somebody cashes in their stock and things like that. You've got to have a reserve. That's so cool. I had truthfully never heard of Jefferson Beer Supply before it came up. And Zach was like, hey, we're going to have Nicki from Jefferson Beer Supply. And I was like, okay, that sounds great. I am now a fangirl, like 100%.
He would like to come work for the employee stock ownership portion of the. It's like
I want to work for Orange Chicken Sours and Burn Book Sours. Like, just pay me in those.
You can
one an hour.
compensate me in sours. I love it.
All right,
you
Nicki, this
talk
has
about,
been so
yes,
wonderful.
I know. Just what a treat. Will you come back? This was like the blink of an eye. This was so rad.
I really like a lot of your other episodes. I really liked it's been fun. So
loose rambling.
We've tightened it up a little bit. Rich, you want to talk to us about what's maybe coming up? Do we know?
Sure. So as we've kind of explained with some of the guest episodes, we record these when we can record them, when our guest is free. And thank you for taking better part of an hour to hang out with us. So I don't know what's coming next week. It will be another episode.
Another exciting episode.
But these get slated in because we don't want to do like, here's 10 guests. So they get slated in, but we will have a great episode coming up in a week or so. No idea what that will be, but
we'll be just as excited as you are to find out about it.
we will. Maybe we recorded it already. Maybe we didn't record it already. We have no idea. All right.
I'm going to read us out. You can find our agency at antidote_71. If you have a question you'd like to send our way, you can visit ctapodcast.live to send us an email, or you can leave us a voice message on our hotline at 402-718-9971. Your question will make it into a future episode, and just our eternal gratitude for your presence here, Nicki, and also for what you are doing to propel the greater Siouxland culture forward. We appreciate you so much.
Do you have gift cards, Nicki?
We do.
Sorry. You do have gift cards? Okay. I was thinking we could run a crossover and we would buy the gift cards, but we could give people a gift card to Jefferson Beer Supply if they call in.
Oh
if
my
it's
gosh.
A local person who calls in.
Yes. Or not. I don't know. We can figure out.
Or I could just buy them for the staff, and that could be
you
like
get merch. Get some
There
merch.
is merch too. All right.
See? All right.
Okay.
Problem
Zach is
solved.
like, wrap it up. We're out.
Thank
you
on
again,
with
Nicki.
it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks a lot. I appreciate it.